Yo, it's Captain, bringing you a Tears of the Kingdom adventure journal number 33. And this is more than the third time I had to start this. So here we are. But what do we do today? We were in Eldin. We're trying to finish off Eldin. We've beat the Goron town. We've saved Goron City. And I'm trying to ultimately head back to Lookout Landing and kind of finish up the side quests and stuff along the way. So we started at Foothill Stable, and I'm trying to get back to Woodland Stable. Probably gonna have to go back to Goron Town and just kind of turn everything in, and then head back to Lookout Landing, get the next assignment. You know, we might take a detour afterwards, but that's kind of where we are. That's what we're trying to do, and it seems like it's gonna be a little harder than it looks, because it looks like I'm about to make the circle again, because Foothill Stable had a bunch of its own quests, and that's essentially what we did today. I think the last time, it's been a while, but I think the last time we played, we ended up at Foothill Stable, and we didn't have time to like grab all the quests. So that's kind of what we did today. I'm gonna try to keep it a little shorter today, so we'll see how that goes. But we got there, and this is the one where everybody's naked. There's a bunch of guys in their underwear, and if you talk to that was kind of our first quest. If you talk to, I don't remember what his name, Pelipper. Pelipper the Pelican, that's not his name, but that's what I'm calling him. The guy who, the reporter who's at every stable, and you're helping him out, getting all the newspapers, getting all the news and stuff. Well, he tells you that all the guys are naked because they said Zelda told him to be naked. And I'm like, is this evil Zelda? Why would evil Zelda do something this silly? Like, it's not really evil, it's just silly. But apparently she also told him to like go to a cave. And so the Pelipper quest is there's a couple of the naked guys that went to a monster cave, and he's worried about them. So you're supposed to go track that down. You're supposed to go track that down. I actually didn't go do that first. And we got like the painting quest and stuff like that. You know, the normal, we just checked out the stable, that normal stuff. We actually went to, there's a little spot above the stable that I had saw coming in with like a cave. And so I went in there, and we found a couple brothers. I forget their names. One of them was like Prisson, Dukin and Prisson. I don't remember. But it was fun because they reminded me of the sisters after the mushroom sisters. But these two are treasure hunters, and they tell you about the cave inside, and that it's just full of chests, but it's all just like one rupee chest. But they know there's a good one in there, and they can't. It's too much for them, and they give you a strong hint to feed a dog, and it'll take you to the right chest. Which is weird because they could have just done it. So you go in there, and it is indeed, it's one of the Misko's treasure caves, and there's a big, Misko treasure wall, and there's a bunch of chests, just a bunch of chests, probably like 20 to 30 chests, and you gotta like dig them up and all that stuff, and they do all have green rupees. So we followed the advice. We fed the dog. The dog would not eat my fish, but it ate my apples. So I fed it the apples, and then it ran off, and it goes straight to like one of the middle chests and picks it, and it is the correct chest. I thought it was cute. I thought it was fun. And you open it up, and you get the hot pants, the hot attack pants. So that completes our hot attack set. Attack in warm weather. They weren't like fancy or anything. They were just because the shirt dress is so fancy. So it was just kind of regular pants. But we completed it. Then they come in, and they're like, "Oh my God, you found it! How'd you find it?" And then they were mad, and they pull out a bottle, and it's a letter, and they let you, and they run off, and you read it, and it's a letter from Misko. And because you don't go in the big Misko door, right? There's just that chest, and the letter is essentially how to get in the Misko door, and it says you need to be wearing a specific set. The Fierce Deity set, it seems like, and then you can get the Fierce Deity sword by coming here with it. I guess. I don't know. It goes into your quest log. So it seems cool. I don't know. I thought as far as Zelda's concerned, the fierce deity was a fever dream that young Link had because he had like a bad burrito one night or something. I'm pretty sure that's the setup for Majora's Mask. But I don't know. I guess we're gonna find the set in there. I can't remember. I couldn't remember if it was in Breath of the Wild. I knew some things from other Zelda games were in like the DLC to Breath of the Wild, but I couldn't remember if the fierce deity set was. I thought it might be, but not the sword. I don't know. I'm excited because I would love to get the sword and stuff, but also this game breaks all your weapons in 2 seconds, so you can't really. No weapon is very good or rewarding because it's just gonna break in 2 seconds. Um, so I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, how are they gonna give us a sword? Is it? I guess it just respawns on blood moons or something. I don't know. But it is exciting, like a big quest. It was a fun thing. And the little message in the bottle was neat. It was fun. And then the brothers were upset. You can actually they'll actually sell you info on, it seems like the Tingle set, which I'm not particularly keen on finding, but but a completion as a completionist, I'll probably like try to get them all. And you have to pay like 100 rupees per tip, and they give you tip on all three, and they're kind of like puzzly. They're not just find them like some of the others. So I don't know if you could figure it out without the tips. I mean, presumably you could, but anyways, I paid him the 100. I opened all those green rupee chests, so, so I had 20 rupees, so that was definitely worth the 300. Anyways, we did it, and it puts him in the quest log too, so you don't have to remember it. So that's nice. Oh, that's just there for later. Then we decided, this is kind of a recap one. It's just how these Zelda ones go. Hopefully they're interesting for you. We decided to do the help the naked men next, right? Let's do the Pelipper quest, right? And this didn't go very well for me. We had a really great time we had kind of a great time getting there because the horse gave me some trouble. I decided to try out the horse harness, and I was like, I never do this horse harness because there's no point to it. I'm gonna do it and find a point to it. And so I did it, and I like had a lot of trouble hooking up a wagon, and it was totally useless and pointless and disappeared anyways. I forget what happened. We did something that loaded a cutscene and made it disappear. And I was like, are you kidding me? But along the way, there was a Korok for us. Oh, you know what? Maybe the Korok was the other way. Oh, it was. Yeah, this was just horse troubles. This was just horse troubles. That's what the cutscene was. There was a Korok, but we had to take him on a boat. That's right. I made a boat for him. Anyways, whatever. Look, later on, I have a bad time. I'll just tell you the story now. I have a bad time in this cave. I have a bad time helping these naked men in this cave. And afterwards, I was greatly cheered up because where we went next, I got to finally use the horse harness, and I literally just glued the Korok to the horse harness and just drug him along to his friend. He was just like, oh. I was like, shut up, you. We're getting there. And it was very cathartic because I was pretty angry. But why was and that was good. But why was I angry? Because I tried to help these guys in the naked cave. And the naked cave, there's two guys standing outside the cave, and they're in their underwear, and they say Zelda told them to be in their underwear, so they're trying to do it. But they're too scared to go into the cave because it's full of monsters, and they don't have any equipment. And they're like, well, maybe if you show us how to do it. And basically this culminates in a like an Eventide Island challenge, but it's just one cave. It's like it's a little bite-sized Eventide. And so you go in there fully naked, and they've got, like it's a little vignette, right? There's like a little setup. There's some boxes. There's a couple weak weapons. There's like a boulder. And I think there's like 3 or 4 enemies. A couple moblins, a couple bokoblins, a moblin, and then like an armored bokoblin. And luckily I went in there at night and I was feeling really good because they were all asleep. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna stealth around and get something really good and like sneak strike them, right? And that's what I managed to do. Managed to get like a big stick and put a sword on it, and thought I was ready to go. There was some boulders, and I thought, oh, I don't want to do the boulders because putting the sword on the stick is going to give me a higher damage number, and I need everything I can get, right? Because they literally take all your items. They take everything. You got nothing. Just like Eventide Island. And so you go in there, and I was like, well, I should probably try to sneak strike the toughest guy first. And I thought it was going to be the Moblin, but then there was that armored Bokoblin, right? And I was like, oh, I'll get him. And I hit him, and he goes plink, and I instantly knew what was wrong. Is that the armor, you need a blunt. It's like stone armor. You need a blunt weapon to break the armor. And I had put instead of using the boulders, right? I had put the sword on the stick to give a higher damage number. And I was like, oh no. And then everybody wakes up. And I was like, oh no. And so I was trying to run around and take him out. I was like trying to focus the moblin down. But it got tough. What happens, they started picking up spears. And the spears are really quick attacks and they're really hard to deal with. And I had essentially a claymore. And I almost they just wouldn't die. Like I couldn't keep hitting the same guy. It was a disaster. And they'd hit me. If they hit me I only have 8 hearts or something. So if they hit me without equipment, I would lose a lot of health. And there's one food item you can get to restore health. And I got that, but I took out the moblin, but the guy, one of the Bokoblins, had a spear and I couldn't he hit me and then I missed. And I would have got him the second time, but the spear is faster than a claymore, so he just stabbed me and I died. I don't even know how I would have done the armor guy, but maybe if it was just me and him, I could have done him. But it was tough. The game's pretty rough when it's hard. I often say the game like Breath of the Wild wasn't really fun until you got a couple armor upgrades and then you didn't die every 2 seconds. And so far this has been the same. One armor upgrade has helped a lot. But I still die very easily. And of course, while you're naked in this cave, you're going to die real quick. But what sent me off was they were telling me about this in the cave, right? They said, oh, you're going to do this challenge naked. It's okay. All right, I'm going to save right before this because, this is probably going to be tough. But they don't, but the dialogue goes and then goes and goes. And then you just start it. And they won't let you save inside. And I was like, oh, the save's cleared out. And I thought to myself, well, okay, then they probably auto-saved right beforehand. It'd be fine. Because I would have literally had to quit out of the dialogue, tell them no, then manually make the save, and then redo it. So I was like, you know what, surely they've done it. Well, they hadn't. They hadn't. And so I reloaded at that Korok I did on the boat, across the lake. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It's going to take me a long time to get over there. This was ridiculous in the first place. So I tried it again angrily. I angrily tried it again. And this time they were not asleep. They were all awake. I tried to sneak around. They saw me. And this time the moblin picked up the spear. Instantly attacked me. And took me down a heart and a half with one hit. And I just quit out. I just quit out. This time I had saved before I talked to the guys. I had to redo the whole talking to them sequence, right? It hard reloaded. So I just quit out and I just marked it. I was like, I'll do this later when I have more hearts. This is insane. I think I could do, because I want to do the Pelipper quest, right? Those are important quests. But dude, I could have done it probably in I don't know, 5 to 10 attempts, but I was so mad. I was so mad. I almost I felt like turning off the game. I was so mad. So I left. I was like, look, this isn't worth it. I'm gonna go around. Um, I don't know. I was a little cranky today in general. I don't know. I haven't been getting enough, very much sleep, so it probably wasn't helping. But holy snaps! So then I went back to the stable. I was like, all right, I guess we're done with the stable, and we're back to the original plan, which was to loop around. And there was a tower on the way to like looping south from Foothill. You follow the road south, and it loops around. But like right up off the road on a cliff was the tower. It's like I'm gonna go that way. That's when I found the Korok and drug him around on the horse, and I was like, this, I needed this. I needed this after this cave. I don't know what it says about me that dragging that Korok and him going, oh, like made me feel better. And I like the Koroks. They're cute. But that did make me feel better. And then we got to and I would just, the goal is to finish Eldin, and that road just takes you a little bit out of Eldin into like the Zora. I think it's like Lanayru. It's got to be Lanayru. If it's Eldin, it's got to be Lanayru. It takes you into that, and then it curves back up north, west, and that'll take you to Woodland Stable. So that's where we're going, turning that quest, and then probably go back to Goron, turn in that quest. Of course, then we're gonna have to go back to Foothill to turn in that picture quest. So we're gonna like make the loop twice, I guess. I don't know. But right along as you take that road, it dips into Lanayru. There's a cliff to the side of it, and up on top of the cliff is a tower. And I was like, well, we should get the tower. You know what I mean? We're right there. I know I'm not doing the Zora stuff yet, but like we're right here. I might as well get the tower. So I climbed up twice because I wanted to do it without using a stamina potion. We climbed up, and it was fun. The towers are always a good time. It's always exciting. We did this one was wild because there was goo everywhere, and I was trying to think. It was like, was there supposed to be goo here? I kept thinking, like, is this something I was supposed to remember from Breath of the Wild? It's been like 10 years, man. It's only been 6. Don't forget. And people are like, no, it's new. And you eventually run into a Zora, and he's like, oh, there's goo everywhere. The upheaval, and then there just started goo raining from the sky, and you have to clean him off with water and stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, you look up, and yeah, that's the Sky Islands are raining goo. Like some of them have waterfalls that come down. It's all goo falls. It's gross. It's like, what is this? So I don't know. Whenever we get to Zora Town, I suspect it will be, go up there and fix whatever's causing the goo. And when we got the tower, it actually revealed the map, and a lot of the water, like even half of Zora Village, was like green on the map, presumably because it's all been gooed. And I was like, oh no, this isn't good. It's kind of like the Gorons were better off, because the Gorons were, going nuts from their crack rock, but like their area was better than Breath of the Wild because Death Mountain wasn't currently erupting and causing lava everywhere. There was a lot more playable space. But it's like Zora had the opposite problem. Now everything's gooed. Their place was way worse off, and there's goo everywhere, and the waters are all gunked up. So that'll be fun when we get there. I don't know where Pure is going to send us next. If I had to guess, she'd send us to Zora Town before Gerudo Town, because it kind of looks like we're just going in a circle, to be honest. But she might send us to Kakariko, because she's been telling us to go there. Or maybe Kakariko is always optional. I don't know. So we might be coming back soon, to be honest. But we got up the tower, and you could see all the goo and stuff, and you could see it was really something. And I don't know, it's always peaceful and calming to me to the towers and just really get those big vistas. I think that's what's really great about the Breath of the Wild Zeldas. I mean, this really is Breath of the Wild too. It's like the second stab at Breath of the Wild. It's like Breath of the Wild. It's like, what if we did Breath of the Wild, but did it again with all the things that we know now, and added more to it and tried to fix some problems. That's really what it feels like. The story's a continuation, but the game itself is really just like it's like an iteration. It's like layered on top. It's like Breath of the Wild is all this, and then now we're just gonna put a lot. We're gonna do a lot more. And to be honest, I feel like they need a Breath of the Wild 3 where they just maybe fix a few more problems and just tighten up the controls, because that's my biggest thing with the game. There's things like the horses. We had a lot of trouble with the horses today because they didn't do anything with the horses for Tears of the Kingdom, at least not that I've seen yet. I guess because you're supposed to be riding around on like a hover cycle or something. So the horse is just kind of frustrating to use, and the controls are just not as tight as you want. So often it's like the game gives you so much freedom. It's like you could do anything. And you're like, oh, and you think up a cool idea and you're like, oh, I'm going to try that. And then the controls let you down. Like it's hard to execute because, your character doesn't quite move as crisply and cleanly as you want him to. And stuff like, and weird things, like you go on a wall when you don't mean to, or you jump when you don't, it's just like, oh man, if you guys just tighten this up, just made this a lot more responsive. But whatever. Will we see a Breath of the Wild 3? Probably not. I don't know what Zelda we'll see. I don't know what they're gonna try and make. Another open world or more traditional one. I don't know. Anyways, interesting to think about. I don't know which one I'd want. I think I'd want a traditional Zelda, to be honest. But we climbed the tower, did the tower, and I did collect a clip because one of the things we saw even while climbing the cliff was like, it seemed like there was a moon in the sky, but it wasn't a moon. It wasn't right. It looked like an object, and I was like, is there a big sphere up in a sky island? And the answer is yes. The answer is yes. So this is the clip I have prepared for you, because I just thought that there was like no way I could describe this and do it justice. So you see, there's this big orb, and you can go in it. It's moving around, and you're like, what is this? And it's like this whole little world inside of there. It's amazing. And I'm actually gonna I don't know. I probably need to skip it ahead a little bit because I'm just like stunned trying to figure out what's going on. But but you see this little contraption here that's spinning, that it's spinning the push bars. Well, the push bars make the world spin. So you see the walls have stopped now, and there's the hole. It's stopped moving, and it's like a little sun because it's like a little terrarium. It's like a little world. We're simulating the sun going, and then you can start it up again, and look, and then it moves. It's so cool. It's probably the coolest thing I've found in the game. I'm probably forgetting something, but for what I can remember, this is the coolest thing. And then it just spins around, and it's like the sun's setting and the sun's rising, and you can see different little pieces. It's all right. There's like the little island there. It's very, very cool. All right, then I just dick around. I think it's mega cool. So I really appreciated that. And there's like a little place beneath it too. You have to like get the hole to be directly on the side so you can slip under, and then you can get like one of those spirit shard things. I had to have help with that. I couldn't figure out. I was like, how do I get down there? And that but as you saw in there was a capsule machine that had some cool stuff. And there was a shrine, and that's the shrine's the last thing we did. This might actually be a shorter video today. We might succeed. The shrine's the last thing we did, and it actually gave me a lot of trouble because I'm stupid. They give you a lot of hints. So in this little orb, one of the things in the capsule machines is carts, which are flat things with rollers. Right? That's the kind of cart they're talking about. It's like a big skateboard, really. But think like shipping and receiving. And so they give you those, and they tell you about them in the capsule machine. And there's a couple there as you're in this little terrarium place, this little planetarium. Maybe that's the right word. But you get into the shrine, and it's very clear you need to. It's like a flying shrine, and you need to use the wing glider to get all the way to the end. But they show you, and they give you ramps and stuff, so glider launchers where you put it on there and it'll slide down. And they show you, they have one just automatically doing it. And they show you it can't get there. So you're going to need to give it some extra oomph. And as you look around, there's 2 other like automatic things. There's 2 other platforms. I guess I could have popped this up in a clip too, but whatever. And one of them's making those carts, and they're just rolling off. And one of them has a fan, and you're like, okay, I need to get the fan on the glider, and then that'll give me enough oomph to get to the end, right? And it wasn't too hard to get over there and get a glider on the fan, but I couldn't get it to fly, right? Like, I had only ever seen the wing gliders fly when they were on one of the little ramps, and you put them on the ramp and they go whoo, and then they fly. And I thought, well, it's got a fan on it, maybe I just need to drop it in the air and it'll do it. It won't. It'll like boom, and then maybe catch, and that wasn't enough. That wasn't doing it. And I couldn't, so I was trying to like get it back up to the launch ramps, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that with the fan, and I was really at a loss. I didn't know what to do. And then there was that whole other section just making those carts, those flat carts, and just I was like, why is that even here? Please don't help me. And then I finally put it together. I was like, all right, what if I use the cart? Because it seems like what these things need is a little forward momentum, and then they'll start flying. Because dropping them in the air doesn't work. It needs to have that ramp. So what the ramp does is give it forward momentum, and then it can fly. So it's like, all right, they giving me the carts. They assumed I was smart. They were wrong. I bet if I put the flight pad, the flight wings, on the cart, I can roll it, and then it'll give it the forward momentum. And then I realized, and then it was really obvious, the platform there you can get the fan has like a big runway. There's no launch ramp, but there's like huge runway. And I was like, oh, it's like takeoff. It's like an actual airplane. And so you have to like, I had to run back to start, but I got the cart and I glued it to the wings, and I got the fan, right? And so now I've got the wings and the fans, and it rolls. And so it's a rolling wing and so you go on the long launch pad, it's like, and it was so cool. It was like an actual airplane. It was so cool. I just felt dumb because it took me so long to figure it out. But it was so cool to do it. And just take off and have a good time. Can I hold on. I might be able to, oh yeah, I got it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I got it live, finding the clip. There. Right? So then you're rolling and you're going. And it actually, like, it takes off. Like, I was trying to get it to see if it would take off a little early. I think if I had adjusted where I put the wheels on the bottom, I think I actually could get it to take off before the runway ran out. Like, you could actually get it to take off like an airplane. And I would have thought that was really cool. But yeah, I don't know. It just, like, we made a legitimate airplane. It's I don't know. So this stuff, see, you can see the wheels on the bottom. But this stuff is that's it, that's the whole thing. But this stuff's crazy, dude. This game is nuts. For as much as this game drives me insane for some things, like the combat and the climbing and the stamina, this stuff that you can do in it, like the Legos and the toys and things that you can do, just blow me away. It's just so much fun. I mean, obviously I could have, like, pulled out my own fans and stuff here, but I wanted to solve the puzzle, and I'm so glad that I did, because I learned how to make an airplane. And it was amazing. I had a really great time. So that was the little planetarium, the little planet we got to be in, which was awesome. And that was the last thing we did. There's clearly, like, if you go out the whole of the planet, there's like a because they give you another glider inside there, and you're clearly supposed to take what you learned from the shrine and fly out to another sky island. So we'll do that next time, just because I'm proud of learning that. And it looks exciting, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I could try to figure out what's going on with the goo, but I'm trying to stay on track with the story and not go off the walls. So we'll you know, I'll probably check out that island just because it's so obvious, and then I'll start heading back to Woodland Stable. Try to make the whole loop. Just I'm tired of Eldin. I'm tired of being there. So I think the plan is to play tomorrow. So I just want to make that loop, turn in all these quests, pretend that naked cave doesn't exist, and probably head back to Lookout Landing. We also need to go up to make a return visit to Hebra and Rito Town to check on the bridge, and mainly to get the second go back and talk to that great fairy in the Hebra Mountains and get our second armor upgrades. But also to check on Rito, mainly get the armor upgrade. So I don't know, maybe we'll do that. But yeah, try to go to Lookout Landing, continue the story, move past the Gorons. That's the goal. But that's the end of my adventure journal number 33. So I hope you did our little journey through Tears of the Kingdom. So I hope it was fun for you. I hope you enjoyed listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm falling over. I hope you have a I'm falling. Oh no. I got that clip somewhere. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope things go well for you. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you around.